Hi students, बहुत सारी queries आ रही थी that you should be doing a project, a sample project where uh, there should be an SQL connectivity. So I'm here with another sample project. See, I don't want to change the actual project from banking. Banking, as you all are aware, that I've already done banking management system with you, but then we did that using the binary file. This time I have come up with the same project using the SQL connectivity because that is what has been asked in the CBSE curriculum also. So I'll just show you first how basically the things have been done, and in case you haven't studied the SQL connectivity, so I would just suggest that first you just go through the SQL connectivity concept and see my videos on forming the relation between or the connection between the SQL server. Once the connection is set between the SQL server and you know how to do the transaction, you will be comfortable in understanding this project. So here is a project. Before I just explain you the entire thing, I would like to execute and show you that this project has a simple connection which is formed with the SQL server, and this is the menu that will be shown, which has all these options, and all the options are, we are assuming that the table has been created in the database. So I would first like to show you there are certain options which I have shown in this project, where you have the first option of inserting the records, the second option is of displaying the records in 3 different ways. So let's talk of the second option first. So I'm entering the choice. Here a sub menu is also shown to you, where we are either displaying the sorted data as per the account number or the customer name or the balance. Okay, so if I'm entering, say, the option 1, I had already entered 2 records in this. So the data is actually taking in the banking management system the account number, the name of the customer, the mobile number, email address, complete address, city, country, and of course the balance. Okay, so here if I would like to see the data with respect to the customer name, I would like to go to B section, and I can see that the name Abhinav is coming before Binu, so I will be able to see. Similarly, if I would not like to see any further option, I'm going to the back option. I will be seeing the main menu again. I can do even the searching part with respect to the account number. So if I am just doing the searching section, I have a for example, there is an account number 100, though it is not existing in my table, it will going to show me that the record is not found. So suppose I would like to see my I'm again would like to see, in case I am looking for account number 130, you will see that the 130 record is actually fetched from the database, and I can see the complete information about that particular account number. Similarly, this has options of updation, deletion, and the most interesting option in this is where you can do the transaction. That means in the bank, when you go, you actually are allowed to either debit the amount, of course keeping in mind the minimum balance, or you are supposed to credit the amount into your account. So with credit there is no limitation, but of course with debit you have a limitation. So before I do that, let me just tell you how to make certain changes. So if in case I would like to make some changes, I am allowed to do that in this case. So you enter the account number, it will check whether the account number is existing. So if it is there, do you want to change the name? So I'll say no. Do you want to change the mobile number? I'll say yes. So the mobile number is, for example, 67676767. Alright, I don't want to change any other detail. I'm not changing the city, I'm not changing the country, I'm not changing the balance. So you can see that I'm getting the message account has been updated. If I would like to further see whether the changes have been reflected back in my account, I can display 120 with the mobile number, and you can see the mobile number is updated. Okay, so I would now just like to tell you step by step how to go about any project where you require the SQL connectivity also. So before that, I would like to first exit this part, and I will exit, go to the option number 7, and I will come. So slowly and gradually I will tell you how to execute each part and how to first of all make each section of your project. So first of all, when you're creating a project with SQL, you require MySQL.connector module, as you all know. Okay, so you're going to use mysql.connector, and you will be using so in this case pickle as such is not required, but since I just try to uh, uh, get the content from the banking management system where I use the binary file, so I basically I think copy pasted this only. So here first of all the connection has to be set up. When you're having a connection using mysql.connector, that these are the parameters, as you all know, which I've already explained in my previous video. So please, I'm again requesting, in case there is a doubt, go and watch my previous video on forming the SQL connectivity using mysql.connector. So the root user ID is root, the password is root123 host. Now here you can see the database. See, initially you don't have a database, so you're first supposed to create a database. Either you can create a database using the command. Here you can see I have mentioned the creation of the database under the comment section, because once the database is created, you don't have to recreate it. So first of all, to create a database, you can just execute this command mycursor.execute and issue the command called as create database with the name of the database. Once the database is created, there you can just mention the name of the database. So all our commands will be within this section of database, and that I can just show you how it works. So I'll just open the SQL server. It will going to ask me for the password. It is root123, as you have already seen. You can see the SQL cursor is right over there, and I would like to open my database. So I'll say show databases. You can see that BankDB has already been created right over there. Okay, so it's always advisable not to work directly under MySQL, because when you're creating your own file, it's better to have your own database and have all your files within that database when you're trying to have the information over there, because here you can go beyond one table, you can work with multiple tables, and there's so many other options. So I've created the database. Now I'm working within that database. So if I'm just using that database using BankDB, you know that SQL is not case sensitive at all. Alright, so you can see that the database has been changed. Now I'm within database, and I would like to see there is a table called bank which I have already created, as I've already shown you. So you can see select star from bank, and you will be able to see these two rows which are right over there. So if I just drag this, you will be able to see this kind of information right over there. Okay, so now we'll further going to see how we are supposed to work with every function. Just have a look at the menu. Now the first function that I've created is a menu, which is doing nothing but just showing you the menu option. That means this is the menu that it's basically showing you. So this is just a menu function where I want everything to be center aligned, so I've used the function center. Now there are two sub menu options. If I just show you why I've created these two sub menu options, when you were sorting, when you were displaying, then there was this sub menu that was shown. Similarly, when you will I will show you the transaction, you will also going to see the sub transaction options, that means credit as well as debit. So I have created two sub menu options. One is for showing or displaying, and the other one is for transaction. Now let's start from the beginning. When we are creating a table into the database, or when we are issuing a command, now there are two possibilities. Either the table is created or the table is not created. So I'm assuming that for the first time the table is not created. So what I've done is I have used an exception right over there, and I've issued a command mycursor.execute, and I've given the create table command. So here, once a table is created, I will going to see. Now from the second consecutive command, this will going to raise an exception, because the table once is created cannot be recreated. I cannot create the same table again. So once a table is created, it will going to raise an exception if I reissue that command. Therefore, it says that the table is existing, and it will going to call the insert function, which means now insert function is the one which is actually helping me to take the data and start entering the records. So now I have the data in terms of account number, I have the data in terms of name, mobile number, as you've already seen, and I would like to take the data and I would like to execute. Now we all know that there are for inserting the data into the database, we have the insert command. So I have written the insert command. See, whenever I need to extract the value from the variable or the object, so if I have to extract the value from the object, I cannot use these object names directly over there because it has to come under the string option. Therefore, you are supposed to use %s. So when you are inserting the new data into the table called as bank with these values, you should use %s and issue your mycursor.execute command, which has two parameters. One parameter is your command, that is CMD, and the other one is from the data set. That means execute this command where the values for %s will be taken from REC. Okay, so as we know that we have already issued the connection, I am again showing you above this section. So here you have mydb.cursor. So there is a cursor function which we have used, and it is creating the object, the SQL object, so that you know it can it will actually going to have the entire information from the database, and the database will be accessed, or the information will be accessed using mycursor. So when you're coming back down, so mycursor is used to execute this command, because to communicate with the database you require this object, the SQL object, or the cursor object you can always call it. So mycursor.execute is so execute function will be executed from mysql.connector, and then you will be able to just execute these commands over there. Once we know that insert, update or delete, these commands are data manipulation language commands. So you need to make the changes permanent into the database. Therefore, after issuing these commands, you are supposed to use mydb.commit. Okay, so then only the changes will be reflected back, otherwise the changes will not be reflected back. Similarly, if I would like to show and display the information, we know for accessing the information from the database, we are supposed to issue this command. So I am selecting everything from the table bank, order by account number. So this command is executed using mycursor.execute function. So once it's done, I would like to print it. The data is printed with this particular gap of almost 15 spaces, and that's how you're basically seeing, and whatever is being fetched using my cursor is taken and given to I. So one by one the data is taken in the form of, as you know that once the data is a tuple, not in the form of a list. So you basically have a tuple with you, and from the tuple one by one you're actually taking the information and you're basically storing at the appropriate position. Similarly, when you would like to sort with respect to the name, you have issued the SQL command with respect to that only. So order by, I hope you remember, order by account number will actually going to access the information with ascending order of account number. Order by name will going to do it with respect to ascending order with respect to the name of the customers. So you can see there is no difference between this and this except the order by command. That's it. Then we go to the balance. Similarly, we have done the sorting with respect to the balance. Now I would like to just show you how we are supposed to search. For searching, you are supposed to remember that you need the complete data set or the record set. So once you have the record set using the command CMD, you will be using it using the loop, and you are actually doing the comparison. So if you are able to find this comparison, you are basically printing and you are breaking the loop and you're coming out. Otherwise, you're actually raising an exception, because this exception is also raised when the table does not exist or the record is not found, because this else is with respect to for if all the iterations are done, still you are not able to find the record, you will going to see record not found. Same way, updation, we have again done the same thing. For updating the record, you have issued a query. First of all, you have taken the record one by one. You're fetching the record and you're taking it into I. We know that the data has a value in terms of tuple, and for updation I need to make changes into the data. Therefore I have temporarily created into a list or converted into a list, and wherever there are changes which are applicable, whether I want to make change in the name or a mobile number or a name, email or address, I've made the changes. And finally, to update, I've issued the update command. So update the name of the table, set what name, what mobile number, what email, where the condition is provided. So if that account number is found, this thing has been issued with this particular data values in this particular order. So like name is at the item number I1, similarly mobile is at item number I2, email is at item number I3, and so on. But where is this account number? Account number is item number I0. That is why it has been mentioned in this order. Again, I told you these are all DML commands, so you need to issue commit, otherwise you will not be able to see the changes which are getting reflected back. Same way for deletion also, you are just deleting the data, you are issuing the command. For deleting, again you are supposed to execute it. Again a val has to be given. See, whenever you are giving percentage s, the data has to be given in terms of the tuple like this. Now when you're just having a single value in a tuple, you know it is, you can't just have a normal round bracket, therefore you need to have a comma, and that is why we are just showing that there is one value through which you are actually deleting the record with respect to this particular account number. So here is a variable value that you are giving. Now debit and credit is something which is important for us to know. When we are trying to withdraw the amount, we are just keeping one condition, that if after debiting the total amount which is left or the total balance which is left in the account is not greater than or equal to 5,000, then we are not letting the customer withdraw and we are showing the message. Otherwise we are allowing it to update. So here we have taken one record at a time. We have checked whether the account number is found or not. In case yes, we have accepted the amount. In case the amount is there, you are subtracting it and you are checking whether after debiting you are still left with the balance of 5,000 or not. In case yes, then only the command is issued and committed, otherwise it is not. Same thing is happening in debit also, in credit also, because in this case we are adding the amount. With credit there is no condition. The only condition is whether the account is found, because here we are adding the money or we are adding or updating the balance, so we have to update it. Similarly, we are basically showing these menu options, and hence now here I would like to tell you one very important thing. Some of you, I don't know whether you have noticed or not, I have used an option called as buffered is equal to true. Now here you are supposed to remember, whenever you are issuing multiple execute statements, whenever you are using my cursor.execute multiple number of times, so first time when you are trying to execute, what will going to happen is, there are two ways of forming what happens is, the data is fetched up from the server and the data gets stored in the buffered area. So in the buffered area, so either there are two options of doing it. One is using the buffered cursor and the other one is not using the buffered cursor. So suppose I don't use this option, I put a hash over there and I don't use this option. I'll show you what is the problem that will going to occur. So if I just execute my program and I have the menu, I am first of all just accessing my first SQL query is accessed. I'm able to see everything. Now here I would like to just make some transaction. I will say that I'm going to the option number 6. I would like to credit some amount, and when I'm crediting the amount, the account number is 120. Enter the amount 100. Okay, can you see it is showing me the error table doesn't exist, though the table is existing. Or it can also show you another, actually here there is another kind of exception which is raised because it's not able to read all the records, and to just let the program run, I have avoided that exception to be raised and I have given this message. Now it's not that the table is not existing, the table is very much existing, we have just seen, but the problem is when you are trying to use an unbuffered cursor, it fetches the record and stores it. Now every time that you need to access the information, you need to use the fetch command or the fetch function to fetch all the records, which means here if you want to fetch the information, you are supposed to, so I was doing the credit section with you, so go to the credit section. Here, whenever you are issuing this, you are supposed to issue fetch all commands also, because this command will actually tell you that you are supposed to fetch all the records from the buffer area so that you're able to make changes into that. And here with the loop, you are supposed to not use my cursor, you are supposed to use S, okay, because fetch all will going to fetch all the records from the the unbuffered, using the unbuffered cursor, and it will going to fetch everything and it will going to get stored in S, and from S you're further making the changes and making further changes into the database. So here if I just try to execute and do the same thing with this, I can just show you that here if I would like to update my record, I'll just do it in the same manner because I want this command to be executed second time. So if I am just showing and displaying the record, so now the record has been displayed, I will go back, I will going to do the transaction. So go to transaction, I would like to go to the B part, enter the account number 120. So 120, I would like to credit the amount 100. You can see now it is showing me that the amount is credited. So when I say see, go back, and I would like to see the records, I will be in a position to see, but then this has to be done. Every time you execute a command, you are supposed to use fetch all. So whenever there is no buffered cursor or unbuffered cursor is there, which is accessing the information from the server, you have to remember to access the entire information, please use fetch all. If you don't use fetch all, it will only going to access first execute command will going to access the record, and the second execution command will not going to access any record, okay. So that is one of the options. The other option is you can also use buffered cursor by specifying buffered is equal to true. So when you specify buffered is equal to true, though this option is not very much advisable, because if you have a very huge data set and you are having a record set which has thousands of records, so buffer, what will this particular cursor, I mean this particular thing do, or this particular parameter do? It will going to take the entire information from the database, and from the database it will going to make a copy and store it into your system, which means if there is a huge database, then your system may run out of memory and it may crash. So this is only advisable if you have a very small data set or a record set like the way which I am working on, because I just have 2 records. I can go up to even 100 records, not an issue. So I do have a space in my system for 100 records, but if it's 1 lakh records, then this option is not advisable. Which one is advisable? So that you're directly communicating using the buffered cursor. So here if you specify either this as true, then you will not going to see that error. But if you are not using this option, I have just told you, every time you are using an execute command, please use my cursor dot fetch all after every command. So here if you are trying to use it within some command, you have to use, because with displaying and all is not an issue, but it's always advisable that you say my cursor dot fetch, because you need to fetch all the records. So fetch all has to be used. Similarly, when you are trying to use it within the loop and you are executing this command, please again say S is equal to my cursor dot fetch all. So when you do my cursor dot fetch all, you are supposed to remember that within the loop you are not supposed to use my cursor, just say S, and you will not going to get any kind of exception. The exception, otherwise it says that it's not able to read all the records, which you will going to definitely face once you start doing it yourself, the project doing it yourself. So I hope you've just got an idea how you can go about as far as the project with the SQL connectivity is concerned. So in case there is any doubt, you can write under the comment section. In case you need a sample copy, you can also mail at csbhasha@gmail.com also. But I would just advise children that it's a reference copy that will be for you. Please take the reference from this and do make changes in your own project, so that the program or the project is completely and explicitly yours. Because it's a learning phase for all of us, we must take reference, but ultimately the final outcome should be ours, so that we can very proudly say that, yeah, we all are learning. Even I am learning when I'm sitting online and I'm learning so many things. So make sure that you are making or remodeling the whole thing and making it yours. Okay, so I hope you have understood the thing to certain extent. For any doubts or for any queries, don't hesitate to write under the comment, and I'll try to be as prompt as possible. And if you like, please don't forget to press the like button, do share and subscribe, and have a wonderful day, children.